Welcome to On Talk, a weekly talk show organized by Apple Lyric Center, broadcasted every Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Apple official fanpage. I'm your host today, Mai, and in today's episode we're going to meet a special guest, Catherine. She have just taken the Ielts test and she's gonna give us some of the information about this test as well as her experience. And let's go and meet her. Congratulations, Catherine, on finishing your Ielts test. How was your score?
Well, I received an 18 overall and I'm really proud myself. Like, I'm still over the moon right now. I think it really paid off my hard work.
Well, that is impressive, and I think that it must take you a long time to practice English and study Ielts to achieve such a high score. So how long exactly have you been studying Ielts?
Well, it all started 2 years ago when I was in grade 9. Like, I didn't know much about Ielts, like what it was or like what I must do in a test. But gradually I get to know more about it, like how to read, how to write. And after 5 courses of studying in Apple, I took the test.
And we all know that Ielts has 4 skills. So which skills do you think is the most difficult?
Well, my biggest enemy has always been and will always be reading. Because to me, reading is like really complicated. In 1 hour, I need to absorb and understand like many words, and they're usually really confusing. So that's why reading cannot be my friend.
And apart from you're afraid of reading, so I've heard that a lot of students meet a lot of difficulties when learning Ielts and also when doing the mock test. So what do you think about them? Can you list them and tell them the tips to overcome them?
Well, each skill has its own difficulties. Like, for example, in reading, you may encounter like complicated and long-winded texts that makes it hard to find the answers. For listening, you may lose concentration and it can end up in a loss of a few answers. And in writing, there are many like challenges, but one of the problem is with the vocab and grammar. Like, they can be inaccurate, too informal, or limited. And when you do the speaking test, you may struggle to find the ideas to develop and make your speaking test long enough, or simply your accent is just not clear and your intonation is too flat. So like, to overcome them, I suggest doing a like practice test weekly. And also, when you have free time, you can read the newspapers and listen to anything that is in English. Like, the key here is to make use of the time. And also, when you don't know what to say in a speaking test, you can search for the sample videos on YouTube. Like, those methods will not help you only in Ielts, but also in your English studying.
And thank you, Catherine. And I think that these tips can help you in the period of studying Ielts. We know that you have just taken the Ielts test about a month ago. So do you have any feelings about the test? I mean, that your emotions when you come into the room taking the test and also when you finish it.
Well, like the day before the test, I was kind of carefree. Like, I did some revision and I also saw some of my mistakes that I hadn't realized before, but I'm glad that I fixed them on time. And an hour before the exam, I had butterflies in my stomach, but it didn't really last long. Like, the real problem came after the test. That is the time when I really panicked and I even burst into tears because I conjured up the day when I got a 7 and the whole world will collapse, and you know, like, my emotion was like down a lot.
But luckily it didn't happen. did it?
Yes.
So studying IELTS in Apple take you a long time, 3 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
So do you have any memories in your class that you used to study in those 3 years?
Well, the most memorable thing about studying IELTS in Apple is when I was transferred to a higher class. Like, it was shocking news to me. I resented to the decision first because I didn't want to leave my friends. I had been in the same class with them for like a long time, even before I knew about IELTS. So like I was so mad at all of my teachers for months, and like my heart was totally broken. And now when I look back at that time, I have to admit that I was childish, but well, to be honest, I really love that part of me.
So apart from English and the IELTS certificate, what did studying IELTS in Apple Language Center give you?
Well, IELTS taught me to be more adaptable because I didn't stay in one class for 2 years. I was moved once, and like at first I found it hard to be open to my new classmates because all of them were older than me. But like gradually I became more and more interested in meeting new people. I really enjoyed talking to people I have never met before. And also, thanks to the 2 years of devotion to IELTS, I now have a boyfriend. So like the message for everyone who is struggling in finding motivation to learn IELTS is, you may find your love of your life.
Okay, thank you, Catherine, and once again, congratulations on your 8.0 on IELTS.
Thank you.
So this is the end of today's episode. As usual, our host will give you guys a question about IELTS, and the one who answered the question the fastest and got correct answer will receive a special prize from Apple. So Catherine, what's your question?
So as you may all know that IELTS stands for International English Language Testing System, but do you know when and by which 3 organizations was IELTS established?
Okay, can you repeat your question again?
Yes, when and by which 3 organizations was IELTS established?
Thank you for your question, Catherine. And if any one of you have any memories or experience about taking IELTS or learning IELTS, please comment down below to let us know about your stories. Thank you for watching. Bye!